All right. Well, Jessica, thank you so much for being here today. I understand that you recently moved to the area. A little bit more about what brings you today.
Um, I just wasn't sure about the move because I got into arguments with my mom about it. She didn't want us to move that far, but my husband thought it was a great opportunity for us and our children. So we moved out here, but it's literally like I don't have anything to do. All I do is stay home. I don't have any friends. I don't have anyone to talk to. A lot of the women in the neighborhood, they're kind of stay-at-home moms, so they just like go jogging all the time. And um, I'm Chinese. We don't do that. We cook, we clean, we go out and we eat, but we don't really do jogging. Because exercise is not saying that it's not within our health, but it's more like the food that we put in our body. That's how like we nourish ourselves.
Becky, because this move from LA to Richmond, Virginia has been really a huge life change for you.
Yes, because I don't know anyone who's moved from LA to Richmond. Because, I mean, like when you're in LA and when you're in Chinatown, sure, it's, a touristy area, but there's been people that have been living here for like over 40 years. This is their home. And when I go out and like when I walk out of my door, I see people that look like me. I see people that I can connect with, people that I can like spark up conversations with just because, I've seen them around for so long. But in Richmond, you don't really do that. People like people seem friendly, but I can't really connect with them because it seems like they're just saying, "Oh, hi, how are you? Bye," and then it's like they don't care about you anymore. There's no sense of community there.
Yeah, that's the word that came to mind for me as you were talking with community. Back in Chinatown, you had really deep roots in that community. You knew people, you had connections, you kind of like the unwritten rules of how things worked.
Yeah, because I've lived there my whole life, and I know the language. You can just walk out the door and go grab something to eat down the street. It's like you can go visit your aunties and your uncles or your grandparents and stuff like that, but you can't do that in Richmond because I would have to like fly all the way back to Los Angeles in order to see my.
Right, and even making connections in Richmond, it's not like you can just walk down the street to something. It's, everybody drives everywhere, and I think that probably helps the isolation, right? It makes it harder to connect.
I mean, I can walk, but I'll probably like it'll just be down the block. There's nothing there. I can't buy anything. I won't see anyone. People will be like, "What are you doing?"
And I remember when we first spoke, you really felt like, your husband is making connections because he's helping build the restaurant and start the restaurant. Your kids are making connections because they're at school, and you're really feeling kind of outside of even their experiences right now.
So they're all busy. They seem very busy. They seem very happy. I kind of feel like I'm the black sheep because, but I also don't know if, they're just kind of pretending that they're happy, so that we stay here because of this whole argument that I had with my mom. It would be embarrassing for us to move back to tell her, oh, it didn't work out, because all she's going to do is say, oh, I told you so. You shouldn't.
Right. So there's a lot on the line, so to speak, for this. Yeah. Truly. Yeah. And it's such a big move anyway. shifted cultures. You've moved to a completely new ways of doing things. I'm curious, argument with your mom is impacting you on a daily basis, because you've mentioned it a couple of times.
I think about because a part of me thinks to her and we shouldn't have made this move, because then I would still be in LA and I would still be surrounded by family and I would be happy. And then the other kind of like, I'm going to prove her wrong. But I also think at the same time, like, I'm doing a really poor job at that because I'm so unhappy where I am, because I just don't know how to manage being in this area, being so far away from everything that I've known.
All of your support. I'm wondering, you say unhappy. How would that manifest? How would that come out in your daily life?
I think I get more irritable more easily, where I'm quick to like kids, and they don't understand what's going on because it seems like they're having the time of their lives, and they're really enjoying being here because it is a new environment. They get to try new things, and I think that's what they like. And it seems like Michael's kind of the same way. He's very busy making new connections, and like I said, it seems like I'm kind of the only one who's unhappy, and I think I try to hide that because I don't want to stress him and figure out the whole restaurant thing. And I also don't want to push that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So far as you come into the community, besides talking, have you tried anything else to feel connected, or is that really the extent of what you've done so far?
That's kind of the extent of what I've done. Like, I don't really know what to do because, and this had to work this hard, to build connections with people. Because in LA, like, I could just walk by someone, we might not know each other, and we might be buying groceries and we'll just spark up a conversation and we'll talk, and then our kids might have like play dates together and stuff like that. And I don't know if it's just because it's Virginia, but I think I'm like more of who I make connections with, even though people seem nice, I just feel out of place.
Yeah, I could totally see that happening for sure. And you reported not only the irritability, hopeless, like this isn't going to change. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Hopelessness comes from knowing the fact that for people, so that the likelihood of us moving back to LA. So in the back of my mind, I think I know that, actually not I think, I know that I have to kind of like suck it up, and make the best of this situation. And I think that's where I'm struggling with knowing the fact that we're going to be here for a while and wanting to go back.
Yeah. So instead of focusing your energy towards LA and what's there, you recognize you need to build something here, but you're just really not sure because you've never had to do that in the past.
Yeah, it's really hard to be away from family and just my support system, because the way that Chinese families are, if like, it's kind of like if you're out of sight, you're out of mind, so to speak. Because when you move away from like where the majority of your family lives, it's not like other cultures where you might call them every single day, or you might like video chat and stuff like that. Or at least in our family, basically, if we see them, then we see them. If we don't, then we don't. And I think that's the hardest part, because my sister and I, we used to talk every single day. We used to go out all the time. We were very close. And now we don't talk at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So feeling just really, really disconnected from the family in a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So I have one question for you, kind of in thinking into the future. If you were to wake up tomorrow and things were better, but you were still in Richmond, Virginia, different.
Um, I guess for Richmond to have a Chinatown, if that's possible.
Well, there you go. You have a goal to start this.
Mm-hmm. Help a lot, because symbol of what home is like. You know, even if it's not the same as the one in LA, it's kind of like a place where I feel, or I think that I can feel a sense of belonging and a sense of community, where there are people like me, where people understand my culture and understand my struggles. Because currently I don't feel that way.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's, you know, something that just came to mind is, you know, as you know, I teach at William & Mary, and William & Mary actually has an institute for the study of China and Chinese history and culture, and I'm a potential way of you finding connections to, you know, people who you can really understand and connect with, because there's a lot of interplay between Williamsburg and Richmond. So while it's anyway, it might be a way to make some connections and start to find that community for yourself. Would you be interested in learning more about finding a way to connect with that institute?
No, they had that there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll email that information to you after session. And again, no pressure. They have lots of webinars and things, and it might be something you could just pop in and observe and see if it's something you're interested
Mm-hmm.
in without having to fully commit to something. But I have a feeling there's some connections between what's here in Williamsburg and what's in Richmond, because a lot of people commute between the two. So
Okay.
UNC. And then I think the next time that you come in, I'd really like to do a little bit of assessment with you to kind of just determine where you're struggling with certain things. And then I think from there, we'll be able to set up some goals. And if you're interested in continuing to work together, we can certainly see what we can do to help and grounded in the space that you're now in.
Okay,
Okay?
sounds good.
All right.